Hey, my name is Demi Peters and I made a short film about personal experiences with ADD. The world around me is sped up. I feel like I'm constantly running after time, but always too late. Clocks seem to skip forward. Dates and times change. Consciousness can just switch off. I'll be gone, unaware of the world, until it turns back on.
Rachel!
So you just saw a 1 minute long video about the film, which I was asked to make by team Shoot Your Shot. They host film contests by the same name every year. And yeah, this year is the second time I've joined. I'm recording this video to explain a bit more about the film and how it was made and just fun facts, because I can't do that in 1 minute. I tried, but I can't. So we're doing this now. 1 year ago, I joined for the first time. It was a very spontaneous decision. I really joined because a friend joined, and yeah, I was just really unsure about the whole thing. But we made this movie, The Caged Cat, and it was very successful. It reached the finals, which is crazy. I never expected something like that to ever happen. Sadly, we didn't win anything, but man, reaching the finals was already such a milestone. But yeah, this year I didn't have anyone to help me with writing and shooting and editing. I had to do all that by myself. And I knew that it was gonna be a crazy amount of work because I had this idea about a movie with like dialogue in it. So I basically had this internal debate going on for like 3 weeks, and then I messaged my friends and I was like, guys, I have this idea. There's this contest. Should I do it? And they were like, oh, that's so sick! And I was like, oh! So then I joined. I remember the very first stages of figuring out an idea for the theme on and off. I was thinking about like a sleep schedule or something with sleep paralysis. And eventually I got this idea. What if I make it about ADD and kind of show what it's like to have ADD? That's where the theme of the contest could work really well. Off could represent that state of unconsciousness and just being lost in your own head and having no awareness of what's going on around you. And on could represent the conscious state in which you are aware of everything going on around you. So I started writing a script around this concept with the main character experiencing symptoms that I experience, except she doesn't know what they are, because I want this to be relatable to an audience of people who don't have this disorder. I wanted the main character to be confused about what was happening. Eventually I had this banger script. It was awesome, but it was way too long for 5 minutes. So I had to shorten it, I had to scrap a lot, but I managed to keep the most important parts intact. Future Dami here. I just wanted to give a shout out to Cryo Chamber, which is a bunch of artists creating dark, atmospheric musical pieces. In the beginning stages of writing a script, I kinda got stuck, and I found their channel and started listening to their music, which ended up giving my imagination the boost that it needed, and I basically based my entire script on the music. I 100% recommend them to anyone else making non-profit stuff, because yes, you can actually use their masterpieces as long as you send them your work for approval, credit the artists, and use it for non-profit projects. Around the time I was finishing the script, I started recruiting actors. I basically private messaged some friends. I was like, hey, do you want to be in my movie? And they were ecstatic. They were like, yes, of course I want to be in your movie. So I immediately had the actors Rachel and Jade. I later asked my mom to be the mom character because I couldn't find another mom. I remember messaging Rachel about the scene where the main character freezes in time. The movie itself does a time jump, and then moss has grown on her and there's leaves and dirt on her. I remember messaging Rachel like, hey Rachel, is it okay if I put leaves and moss and dirt on you, possibly on your face and hair? And she was like, yeah, sure, I can just wash it off. So yeah, basically I have amazing friends. For the same scene, I figured it would be really cool to do something with special effects and makeup. So I started asking around in my friend group, does anybody know somebody who is good with makeup? Because I am not. And then Anika joined the set and she was gonna do the makeup, which turned out absolutely amazing in my opinion. While I was shooting, I was also directing, which was really fun because my friends are really good listeners. So Rachel would be doing like the phone scene and she would be like,
What? What time is it?
and I was like, okay, that's good, but I want it to be a bit more frantic and dramatic. Basically what you're feeling right now is disbelief and confusion because you were trying so hard to be on time. Hell, you read the note out loud to yourself 3 times just to make sure that you would be home on time. And now you're finding out that you failed and you're thinking, is this really happening? I cannot believe this is happening. I can't believe this is happening right now. And even if it took a whole lot of takes, every time they would nail it.
What? What time is it? What? What time is it? What? What time is it?
And I'd be like, yes, yes, this is perfect. This is the one.
Dat beter?
That was more panicky. That was good.
That was great.
That was a good one.
Like I said earlier, I did not have anyone to help me write the script, shoot everything, and edit. And everything just took a lot longer than last year because my idea was so much more complicated than last year. To shoot enough footage for 5 minutes of film, I spent 7 days shooting. It's by far the longest time I've ever spent making a video. Something else that's fun to talk about is that I shot everything on my phone because, to be honest, I don't really know much about how cameras work. But this meant that I needed a device to plug my microphone into because otherwise it doesn't record sound. I could not find a pair of lavalier mics anywhere, so I had to resort to a shotgun mic, and I was trying to figure out a way to record audio without having the mic in frame, and I was talking about this with my dad. The next morning, this huge stick was on the table with the mic mounted on it. It was hollow and there was an extension cord from the mic plugged into the camera so you could hang the camera over your shoulder, record by holding the stick like this. And I was so amazed, like, how did he make that in one evening? Shooting this with friends was such an experience. A lot of cool things happened. For example, I taped a clock to a tree with double-sided tape. And there was this guy with a big camera. He came walking uphill, walking towards us, and started taking pictures. And I think that he thought that it was some kind of art project that belonged to the forest. So I was just laughing at the whole situation, and I walked towards him and I was like, yeah, we're filming a movie, so that's why there's a clock on a tree. And then we both laughed about it. Another event happened on the day that I shot the scene where Rachel is crawling on the ground. Anika was also there because we were filming the makeup scene on the same day. Oh man, I remember we're standing near the tree where we would record the scene, and Anika looked down and she was like, oh, would you look at all the spiders walking around here? And I mouthed, why the fuck would you say that? Because Rachel is freaking terrified of spiders. So she had to spend a long time building courage to face her fear. So in the shot where Rachel was crawling on the ground, she's genuinely afraid. And I was like, should I just stomp the ground here if that makes you feel more comfortable? So there I went stomping the ground, RIP to all the spiders I killed. And if you pay attention, you can actually see in the movie that the grass is all flat because I stomped on it. Facing your fear is something that's really hard to do, so thank you, Rachel. Thank you for your sacrifice. You made my movie look awesome, and I'm so proud of you. Another time when we went to shoot the scene where the main character is looking at this clock, and I just could not get Rachel and the clock in frame right. So what's actually happening in this scene is that Rachel is sitting on top of Jade's shoulders, which was kind of painful for Jade because she just got a new arm tattoo. But it turned out really well, so thank you, Jade. The video edit contains so many effects. There's the effect in the beginning where I made a scene shot at daytime look like nighttime, which I did by color grading the footage. Then there's the clock that skips 20 minutes when Rachel walks past it. This was done by Rachel walking in front of the clock and then stopping once she obscured the entire clock. And then Jade would change the time on the clock, which I would cut from the footage, and Rachel would start walking again.
No, wait, it's fine. Just do it now.
There's this kind of RGB blur around the edges effect, which makes everything look more dreamy and unreal. Then there's the effect where everything is sped up except for the main character. Here I put the main character in front of this box thing and recorded two videos, one with her and one without her. And I pasted the video with her in it over the video without it, and then cropped it near the edge of the box.
There's a bus! This is gonna look sick! Okay.
We had a bus.
We have a bus! I've never been so happy about a bus driving away. Yes, peasants, walk. Yes, woman, run.
Run.
Run for your life.
Some other scenes where I did this was the scene with the big sped up clock and the sped up sky. Basically here I'd use the sky as a blue screen and replace it with a time lapse of clouds that I made. For the other one I used the sky as a white screen and removed all the whites around her. And you can kind of see how it works by looking at the tree. I couldn't remove it because she was in front of it, so I just kept it in the footage. And by looking at it you can see that these are two separate videos placed on top of each other, one sped up and one in normal time. And this is another effect that is basically supposed to not be noticed. These are a bunch of different video layers because I wanted Rachel to run a bit slower and the train to go a bit faster. So Rachel is a separate video, the train is a separate video, the train tracks are a bunch of separate videos, and the background is a separate video. Because Rachel was very close to the train in the original footage, so with video on top of video on top of video, I could erase her reflection on the train tracks and stuff like that. And lastly, there's the effect where Rachel blinks and her iris turns into a clock. I basically cropped out an image of a clock and then made that an overlay on her eye. This took me so long to do. It took at least half an hour, and it's about a second long. This is because I had to change the position that it was in for every single frame because tracking didn't work, and otherwise it would just kind of bounce around. So I spent a very long time adjusting this frame by frame, but I'm really proud and happy with the results. There's some sound design in there that I'm really proud of.
Maybe you could set alarms, or you could leave notes around your house. I don't know if that will work, but it's something. Or maybe there's a therapist that could help with your problem. Rachel! Rachel! Maybe you could set alarms, or you could leave notes around your house. I don't know if that will work, but it's something. Or maybe there's a therapist. Rachel! Rachel!
Hey, did you forget your phone? Look, your counselor is here and I couldn't reach you. Well, it's been 3 p.m. You should be home by now.
I guess the message and the goal of the film is to make an audience of people who don't have ADD understand what it's like, for me at least, because I know that a lot of people can experience a disorder differently, which is why I put a disclaimer in the beginning. I think it's very important that people understand that this is just my experience and that they don't assume that somebody else dealing with this experiences it like this. I do a lot of self-reflection and thinking about things that I experience. And the reason why I do that is so that I can explain it better to myself and other people, which is also how I made this movie. And I hope that other people with ADD can relate to this. Anyways, thank you so much for watching me explain. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it interesting. And I guess I'll just see you later.
Omdat het geluid in deze bijzondere korte film zo goed is ingezet, komt de subjectieve ervaring van het hoofdpersonage nog beter naar voren. Ook in de beeldtaal weet deze film haar eigen beleveniswereld prachtig uit te drukken. Vorm en inhoud sluiten zo prachtig bij elkaar aan in deze net zo vermakelijke als urgente korte film. De derde prijs gaat naar The Last Minute van Demi Peters van Carved Cuts.
Alright, so I just got this in the mail. Let's unbox it with one hand because I don't have time to grab my tripod right now. I think I know what it is, and I'm so excited! There we go. There we go. Oh my gosh. Oh wait, there's a letter or something. There's an envelope. Yes! Oh, sick, I got special tickets. I don't watch movies much, but maybe it's time to change that. Got a really nice letter. Now on to the real deal. I couldn't do it with one hand, so I didn't film it. I am shaking right now. Oh my god! Oh wow, it's shiny. Look at this. Wow, that is so cool. I have no idea where I'm gonna put it, but I'm so happy with it.